Today we are going to focus on making a password that's different for every single website that you go to and log into. Different for you and honestly easy to remember, so you don't have to write it down ever, because we're going to base it on that scary sounding word in front of you, algorithm. Don't be scared though, because it's going to be a lot easier than you think. And the reason why we're going to do this is because of that cloudy thing, right? The big cloud out there in the world. Remember, it's accessible by anyone from anywhere, anytime, right? And so your password, right, this thing, is ultra crazy important, because if you don't keep this safe, this means that someone can get into your account from Russia, from Idaho, from Toledo, in your backyard, from anywhere essentially. And once they have access to your account, now they can pilfer through a bunch of things and potentially get the same information from bunches of accounts all over the web, especially if you have the same password for multiple accounts. And so having a different password is going to be really helpful. So we're going to go through, how do you create a password that's different each time but still maintains some integrity and maintains some security and won't drive you crazy trying to remember it. Here we go. So I'm going to explain some things. We just went over this cloudy part. So what is the cloud? Cloud is the part of the internet that you log into, right? Stop and think about that for 1 second. The cloud is the part of the internet that you log into, right? And so that's why that password is so important. It's when you're on the internet, you log in, then you're in the cloud, and the cloud needs to be secured. All right, so we're going to do a little test with you and see how you can do, because you're going to give me the least common denominator, the lowest common multiple basically of what needs to go into a password to satisfy all of those requirements that you get to. And you have these password requirement, and it requires this, this, and this. So look at the screen, tell me what you think is one of the things that a password requires of you. This one's pretty easy, right? Letters, right? So you need to have letters, alphabetic letters, right? So I'll put the letter A up there, A, B, so you gotta have letters, right? Then, what else do you have to have? This is my favorite joke. Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9, right? But what else do we need in a password? We need numbers, right? So you gotta have numbers. I'll put a 1, 2, 3. So we need those things. We know that we need those things, right? Then, can you get this one? All right, I bet a bunch of you guessed upper and lower case, right? Very good. So we don't just need A's and B's, we need A's and B's for sure, right? Uppercase, lowercase. Then this one tricks almost everybody, but I'll give you a second to think about it. A lot of people want to say special characters, but it's actually long. So you usually have to have a length of like 8 characters, 10 characters, etc. But honestly, there are some out there, some password things that keep you from having passwords that are too long, but which is ridiculous, because the longer the password, the better off you are actually, no matter what. The longest password in the world is the best password in the world. That's the truth of the matter. That's called entropy. But we don't really care too much right now. What we want to do is we want to satisfy all of those algorithms out there, but also keep it manageable. So I'm going to say, let's keep it somewhere between about 8 and 16. So we're going to just try to shoot for that ish, right? Next one. Can you get this? I bet you can, because it's about the only thing left, and it's the one that other people guessed before, which is special characters. So you got to have your bang symbols, right? Or your pound / hashtag / octothorpe. This was actually originally called your octothorpe. But one of those, $, something like that, it's a little silly, but there's a bunch of places out there that don't accept like ampersands and things like that. So usually we try to stick to $, exclamation points, etc. All right, so what does this look like? Well, we actually have one more characteristic, to go through, because, and I don't know if anybody's going to get this one, but maybe you will. Take a look at those words for 1 second. What you should realize is they're words, but they're not words. They're not real words. They're nonsense words, right? And so we want to throw a nonsense word in here, and I usually call it our base word. So think about this. You could say, what's your daughter's name or something? You could say Sarah, right? But that's a pretty easy thing to guess or see if you see somebody typing in something. people who are over-the-shoulder password stealers, they could see you maybe type in Sarah. So what we want to maybe do is come up with something that's a little more unique and say something like para, right? Or para. That's not a real word in most places, right? Or if you want to say trucks, because you love trucks, instead of saying trucks, you might say trumps, right? Trumps, right? Which is not a real word, trumps, which I suppose lends itself to some jokes that I'm not aware of, but I'm sure are out there, right? So that's an example of using a base word that is a nonsense word. All right, so like that is what your password should look like, right? Where you've got an uppercase in the first part, you've got a lowercase l or 14, right? Maybe that's what that is. And then Smoopy, because Smoopy's not a word. And in fact, it threw in a couple extra O's in there to throw the thing off. Although some password generators or password recommendations say don't use more than 2 characters in a row, so you might make it Smoopy or Smoothie. There we go, Smoothie. There we go. That's our base word, something like that. But this is a password right here that would satisfy pretty much all of our requirements for passwords across the board, almost anywhere. So now how do we make this different for every single website that we go to? Well, we plug it into a formula, right? And that looks really sensible on your screen, doesn't it? Well, I know that looks confusing, but let's just think about this in really easy terms. Let's say we've got Facebook, right? The book face. Now all we have to do is to satisfy the password generator, we use our base word, which I'm going to leave as Smoop, right? S-M-O-O-P. Not a real word, but I'm going to use it anyways. So there's my base word. I use this base word for every single website I go to, and now I use the website to change my password for every single site that I go to. Facebook happens to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters in it, so I'm going to put an 8 right there, right? And then I said, I need to have upper and lower case, so what I'm going to do is I already have my lowercase letters. I'm going to pick 2 letters in here to be my uppercase, and Facebook ends with OK, so I'm going to put OK, like that, and now I need some sort of specialized character, so I can put an exclamation point in here because Facebook is out to get us, or something like that. Or maybe if it's my bank account, so I'm going to go to Wells Fargo, and I'm going to say Wells Fargo has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first word, so I'm just going to use 5 now. I'll leave that up there for a frame of reference. I'm going to redo my password for Wells Fargo. Don't worry, I don't bank at Wells Fargo, so you can't possibly be stealing my password. All right, so Wells Fargo has 5 in the first word, which is what all I'm going to focus on, so I put a 5 there. And now it ends in go, Fargo, so I put in go, capital. And because it's all about the money, that's going to be my $sign right there. And so anything that has to do with money, maybe I pick $sign, or anything that has to do with money, maybe I pick exclamation point to throw people off. But you can see how now my password can literally change and be a different password for every single website that I go to. Take Nike. I'm not going to do this one. I'm going to give you like 20 seconds. Actually, you can take as long as you want because you can pause the video and go ahead and craft, using this algorithm, your password for Nike.com. All right, you done pausing? You made up your password for Nike.com? I think you get the trick. You get how this works. That's it. Now we could talk a little bit about two-factor or not two-factor. Two-factor authentication is setting up that key token so that you got to use your phone or whatever, so that you actually have to hit yes, or you have to get a text message sent to your phone to prove that it's you. Because when you're logging in the cloud, remember the cloud, right? Now your one factor is your password that you put in there, but remember, people can come in and hack your password. The other form of authentication that rides underneath it would be that special code that you're getting to your cell phone, right? Or saying yes on your cell phone that gets put in here also. So that's 2 factors, 2 forms of authentication that are getting plugged in here, proving it's you. And this kid who's over in Uruguay, or down in Uruguay, can't just steal your password and get into your account anymore. They can steal your password, they still can't get in because they don't have your phone to generate the second code that's with it. Now, if somebody steals your phone, hacks into your phone, and hacks your password, you're kind of out of luck. But this way, way, way more secure to have two different forms of factoring or authentication than it is for one. There's your password lesson for the day. That's pretty much it. If you want to go to this website for fun and find out how secure your password is, it's howsecureismypassword.net. It's kind of fun. You start typing your password in there, and it starts generating how long it's going to take a robot to crack your password. There you go. Have fun. Enjoy. Start recreating your passwords for all the different places. Never write it down in a book. Never worry about it again.